Good morning, world. Over the last few couple of decades, we've seen an increase in the number of couples separating after long marriages, couples in their 60s, 50s that are separating. And that's why today we're talking about 5 sources of conflict in long-term marriages, and by long-term, I'm talking about people who have been together 20, 30 years versus the kids leave. When the children leave, the couple no longer has the obligation that need to stay together for the children. They have a little bit more freedom to do things that are more based on their wants and their needs. There's also, I mentioned in a previous video, how when you're raising children, a lot of times couples stay connected through the children. They stay connected as parents. So when the children are no longer there to be the buffer, then a lot of the different things, maybe annoyances, different things that happen as they grew apart, they start noticing and may decide, hey, this is not for me anymore. 2, financial security or financial autonomy. And at that stage, for 20 or 30 years into a marriage often means 20 or 30 years into a career, which means that a person is a little bit more financially stable, and also they don't have the obligation or the finances of children to worry about. So at this point, their finances are simply based on their needs. So they are in a better place to step away and live on their own if they need. So they no longer have to rely on their partner for financial to meet their financial needs. 3, the pressure of transition. A lot of times couples especially in that 30-year bracket are looking at retirement, and some people get scared, some people get excited, some people just don't know what to do about it. And as they try to figure out, hey, what happens next? What is the next stage of my life going to be? No more children, no more work, no more working. Where do I go? And often you find that one person is saying, oh God, I finally get to rest. And then you have the other person that says, oh, now it's time for me to go and do everything that I postponed to have a family, to raise children. So when the plans for that transition don't meet, it can raise conflict, as well as when a person is fearful or worried about what that next stage is. It can also raise tension because that person dealing with that internal conflict is not always the best communicator. Sometimes their internal conflict causes conflict in the marriage. 4, people find their voice. It's that a lot of times you get into a marriage, sometimes people, for the sake of the marriage, for the sake of their family, because they're still developing and learning who they are, sometimes they accept certain things. But as they get older, people start to get to that point of, no, this doesn't work for me, and being able to express, no, this doesn't work for me. So as people find their voice, sometimes it can raise a conflict. If you always allowed your wife to do X, Y, Z, and even though you didn't like it, as you get older, you may find yourself saying, no, you know what, this doesn't work for me, I don't like it. Or maybe your husband used to do certain things or said certain things that you weren't happy with, but you put up with it. As people get older and they start realizing, hey, I don't have to put up with things, I can actually speak up. So a lot of times as people find their voices and learn to speak up and stand up for themselves, that can be a great source of conflict in marriages. And finally, the realization of the finality of life. At that stage, people are realizing, hey, I am way past the halfway point or closer to the halfway point of life. And they realize that, hey, there are things that I've been putting off that I need to do now because I don't know how. So as they get to that realization that, hey, life is not eternal, people want to live. People want to enjoy life. People start becoming less willing to put up with things, less willing to settle for things. And that sometimes can mean that, hey, in order for me to be able to live the way I want, I need to be away from this particular person. Or if I want this and that person doesn't want it with me, then I need to go somewhere I can have it. Quick recap. 1, the kids leave, no more buffer, no more obligation of children. 2, financial autonomy because you've been at your career and you have the funds and you have the means to sustain yourself. 3, the pressure of transition, figuring out what that next stage of life is going to be. 4, finding their voices. People are less willing to put up with stuff. People are able to speak up because they're at that stage. If not now, then when? And realizing the finality of life makes people want to enjoy life more, make people want to do those things that they've been putting off. And if sometimes your partner is not willing to go along, sometimes it can cause conflict. And if you're struggling with something, as always, please do reach out and get the help you need. And that is all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have an awesome day.